For someone with an anxious attachment style, knowing when to commit can be tricky. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can tell if the timing is right. So a big thing to look out for is consistent reassurance. When you have an anxious attachment style, you might need a little bit more reassurance than some other people, and that's totally okay. But the key here is noticing that your partner isn't just saying the right things, they're also doing them. So maybe they check in with you regularly, maybe they make an effort to understand your worries, or maybe just make you feel like a priority. And this consistency helps to build trust over time. It shows that they're dependable, they genuinely care about your feelings, and it just shows that you can trust them to be there for you in the long run. Another thing to look for is vulnerability. So vulnerability can be tough, right? It's like a way, like if we've been hurt before, that can feel uncomfortable. But in the right relationship, you should feel comfortable sharing your fears and your insecurities and your needs without worrying that it's going to push your partner away. And when your partner listens and responds in a way that makes you feel heard and supported, it's a sign that they're someone you can trust with your heart. And this comfort with vulnerability is crucial for feeling secure enough to commit. Another thing to look out for to decide whether or not to commit in a relationship is a healthy balance. So it can be easy to fall into the trap of relying too much on your partner for emotional support. Like, we want to be able to rely on our partner for sure, but sometimes with the anxious attachment style, it can be easy to rely a little too much. And so in a healthy relationship, there's a balance where you can enjoy your time together and still feel okay when you're apart. You know, maybe you each have your own hobbies. And this balance shows that the relationship is strong and that you're both individual people who can thrive together and you can thrive independently. It's all about feeling connected without losing yourself in the process. Another very important thing to look for when deciding whether to commit is mutual effort. So reciprocity. A lot of people I work with say that they've had a history or had relationships where it hasn't felt reciprocal. And so we work to get them into a little bit more touch with what their needs are, what they're actually wanting in a relationship. Because relationships take work, it's important to feel like both people are putting in the effort. So when your partner is responsive to your needs and makes an effort to make you feel loved and appreciated, it's a good sign that they're just as invested as you are. It's not just about grand gestures, but those little things that they do to show you that they care. Like if they remember your favorite snack, maybe you're like having a long day at work and they just bring you, your favorite snack. Or maybe they make time for you even though they're busy. And this mutual effort helps build a strong foundation for commitment. Another thing to notice is that you start to have less anxiety over time. So this is in contrast to, say, like an anxious avoidant relationship where people tend to have more anxiety over time. So noticing, like at the beginning of the relationship, it's normal to feel some anxiety, especially if you have an anxious attachment style. But as the relationship progresses, you'll probably start to feel more at ease. You can notice if your anxiety about the relationship is decreasing and you're feeling more secure in your partner's commitment. That's a great sign. It shows that your partner is meeting your needs and that the relationship is evolving in a healthy way, making it easier to consider a deeper commitment. Willingness and desire to keep the relationship good. If that desire isn't there with other people, it's going to be tough. So don't future trip, but, think about, okay, if you do have a concern, where might it be coming from? Like, if you have any concerns about whether or not to commit, is there something in particular that's coming up? And if that thing is coming up, is it happening a lot or just a little bit? For example, if you were concerned about your partner having very different interests than you, like, are there places where you do have a lot of interests? Are there places where you do agree on things? Or are you just completely different people and you don't have anything in common? Like, probably not if you're dating. Or, for example, if you feel like you're not getting the validation that you want from someone, from your partner, and I guess my question would be, okay, does that happen a lot or just a little? Like, nobody's perfect. We can get hung up on trying to find the perfect person and being like, oh gosh, if I don't find the perfect person, if it doesn't work out, I'm stuck with them. But ultimately, for a lot of people, it comes back to the confidence. Like, do we have the confidence in the relationship that it will work out? And that can be kind of tough if we've had a lot of relationships that haven't worked out. I get it. I've been there. Before I found my life partner, I did have relationships that didn't work out. And I took a break for a few years after I got my heart broken. I worked on myself a ton, and I was confident that my next relationship was going to be awesome. But the reason why I was confident in that was because I'd done so much work on myself and personal growth and attachment, and I was confident that I had the tools and the skills and knowledge to find someone compatible and to know whether they were compatible. And so, I mean, sure, there was uncertainty of how or when, or like, is this really possible? But I was confident that when it happened, it would be better. It would be better than the relationships that I had had. And it's one of those things where I had that confidence, I had visualized what that would be like, and then sure enough, we've been in a relationship for quite a while now, and it's great. Like, and so I think there's a way that we can just start to notice these different elements. Like, is the consistency there? Do we feel more relaxed around them? Do we trust, that they're going to be there for us? And those are some of the main things to look for when you're trying to decide whether or not to commit to someone when you have that anxious attachment background. So I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please click like and subscribe. And you can also visit me on my website at kayli.larkin.com. This is Kayli Larkin, wishing you a beautiful relational journey.